Well, hello. It's the Mimo Arbalist here, coming to you from somewhere near the middle of Missouri.
And the skies are not cloudy all day.
Subject of today's video is this: a new piece of equipment that I plan to use during the 2026 crossbow season. Last year, I had two different locations set up. A one-person ladder tree stand, which I used almost exclusively for morning hunts, and a large two-person hub and frame pop-up blind, about 6 foot square, which I used at a different location for afternoon and evening hunts. You see, Mimo has a friend. Let's call her sweet little sister Vinny. With a friend of Mimo here sitting with me, who occasionally graces us with her presence on some of the afternoon hunts. However, this year, in the area where I will hunt, and the selective deer management program I am fortunate to participate in, they have a new rule: no tent blinds. But luckily this year I have this new two-person chair blind. So let's see what it takes to set up the two-person chair blind. Well, first off, you have to take the blind out of the bag. That's fairly obvious. Once you have the bag removed, remember where you put it. Then it's a simple matter of unsnapping the cinch strap, and the whole contraption kind of folds out, pretty much like any bag chair you've ever used before. Once you get the two chairs opened up, fully extend their frames, and you see it's two chairs with a little armrest in between, with a little shelf for your elbow and a little carry package. Then it's a matter of just kind of flipping the material up over to the front once you get it set where you want it. Oh, that looks pretty comfortable. Okay, let's go ahead and flip it up. Once you have the dome flipped up over the top, on the outside edge of both chair frames, there's a little pivot joint where the top roof support bands connect. There's two slide sleeves, one on each side, that have to be slid down over that pivot joint to lock it in place to keep the roof upright. Then zip shut the split front flap and make sure that the skirting all around it is not tangled up. And that's about it. Pretty simple. Or, as Sir English Paul would say, Bob's your uncle. Okay, now here's the view from inside the blind. It does have these two smaller front-facing windows, which are probably useful for rifle hunting, but with a crossbow, you need adequate clearance for the limbs to expand on the shot. So I don't think I'll be using the smaller windows. I'll probably just leave them zip shut and open the big, full front-facing window. I'll most likely be shooting off my knee, so I'll have the window somewhere between halfway and all the way open to allow for the shot angle. These blinds nowadays pretty much all have a version of the one-way see-through material. There are several side and angled windows on this blind, but for crossbow hunting, especially if sweet little sister Vinny is sitting next to me, I don't think I'll be shooting out of the side. There's a nice little armrest between the two chairs and some handy storage pockets, and enough room in front of the chairs to stretch out your legs. Now let's see how things look from the outside of the blind, trying to look in. That's a good looking blind out there, isn't it? Here I am getting all camoed out with a camouflage ball cap, face gaiter, gloves, long sleeve shirt, long pants, and camouflage boots. Now here I am opening up that front window. You can see that if my hands stick outside the blind, or even right at that front edge, they do catch some sunlight and reflect and become visible. The blind is set up kind of at an angle with the sun coming from my left, but I think if it was set up with the sun directly behind it, that would reduce the ability to see any of that reflection near the front facing of the window. See, I really am in there, but as long as I stay tucked back, I don't think you can see me. Now we're going to open that front window all the way. Again, while I'm up at the front of the blind, I catch enough sunlight to be somewhat visible. Let's run through those tests again, this time wearing my blind camo, blacked out gloves and long sleeve shirt. And Mimo the Third is alongside right now. You'll notice that when I bring the crossbow up, because the limbs are pretty far forward right at that edge of that window, they do reflect some sunlight and they do become visible. That's something to keep in mind. When you do your setup, if you can have the sun at your back, that'll be a lot more effective. Even with that front window all the way open, as long as I stay back in the shadows, I'm invisible. Again, the crossbow is visible because it's so far forward in the blind, almost sticking out past the front edge. Taking down the chair blind is just the reverse of the setup. Unzip the center bottom flap and fold the entire front flap up and over to the back of the chairs. Don't forget you have to release those pivot joints by sliding both of the side support sleeves up over the pivot joints onto the metal ribs. Then you just fold in the chairs the same way you would with any regular bag chair, folding the blind material around the closed chair frames. Secure the whole kit and caboodle together with the attached cinch strap and snug it down. Then you just have to fit it back into the carry bag. I usually turn the blind upside down and feed the bag over it about halfway before turning it right side up and shaking the blind completely into the bag. Tighten down the drawstrings, and it's ready to sling on your shoulder to pack out. These type of chair blinds are made by multiple manufacturers, and I am not pushing any one brand over another. They all mostly come in one-way see-through material and are all similar size and shape. The blinds come in one-person and two-person setups. So what are the specs on this chair blind? Let's see. It weighs in at about 18 and a half pounds. That's not too bad, even if you gotta walk a little bit of a ways. It's about 56 inches wide, side to side, about 56 inches tall, plenty of room to sit in there, and about 48 inches deep from back to the very front of the round shape. It generally takes me about 3 minutes or so to set it up, and a similar amount of time to take it down and pack it in the carry bag. Well, that's about all there is for this video. From somewhere near the middle of Missouri, I am the Meme Arbalist, wishing you safety and success.